Hello, and welcome to The Climb, the Confident Leader podcast. Today, we have a privilege to have someone in the room with whom I have worked for over 20 years, with whom I have worked from day one of his corporate journey until today. We are connected, and I have seen his journey year after year, companies, different organization within the company, different departments within the company, and he has just been amazing so far. Our guest here is joining from Melbourne. He has been in the IT staffing industry, digital technology industry for over 19 years, worked in North America region, India, Southeast Asia, and presently in ANZ region. He is currently the managing director for APAC region for Net2Source Inc. And in his previous organization, he played multiple roles, right from a technical recruiter to recruiting manager to operations head to country head, and so on and on and on. It's my honor and privilege to welcome Priyanshu Singh on this podcast. Welcome, Priyanshu. How are you doing today?
Thank you, Rahul. I'm doing very well and hope you're fine as well. Thank you so much. It's an honor to be here with you, and it has been a privilege knowing you and working with you over the last 19, 20 years. So, thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And one thing which is in my memory, Priyanshu, when you joined back then in 2006, and I believe it was July 1st, 2006, during your recruiting days, you were one of those few recruiters who used to get the two submissions that we used to have as a norm very quickly. You never had to wait for 8 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours. You were a very quick learner. Your resumes were there before lunch, though you must be submitting towards the end of the day. But yes, you had in your database or in your inbox early on. And there was a time, I know there was a phase where you felt invisible. You felt that you are just one of the many in the mix. So take us and our audience back to those 2006-7 days. What was going on? Uh, Take us to that time in 2006 and 7.
Sure. Yes, Rahul, and very right. Part of the crowd. I remember day one, 1st of July 2006, and very excited to start my professional journey. I walk into the hall, and I see 40, 50 people there, and I'm like, oh my God. There's so many people here. How do I stand out? How do I get noticed? All of them there, young, fresh, uh, people who joined straight from college with some goals, with some dreams, right? And you also one of them. Uh, and then it became even scarier when after the training we hit the floor, and I realized that, oh, it was not just these 40 people. The company has been on a hiring spree. Every month there were 50, 60 people who were joining. So you're part of that big crowd who's there to make a mark, who's there to start their career in a positive way. You're also one of them. So
Yeah.
what do you do? How do you stand out? How do you get noticed?
Uh-huh.
So yeah, it was scary. It was being part of that crowd, and the biggest question was, what do you do? How do you stand out?
Yeah, yeah. And I think this is a very common theme I have seen in folks who start with a lot of ambition, but probably in 6 to 8 months, either they quit on their ambition or they quit on us as an employer. Uh, so tell us what changed, because I know that was a phase for a smaller time, and then you went on a mission to take on newer things. You went on to tackle newer territories. So, what were some of the shifts that happened to your mindset that made you do those things, which was not the norm, which was not done by anyone else in the company back then? So, enlighten our audience with what those mindset shifts were there.
Sure, Rahul. Yes, so when I joined in 2006, I did the recruitment role for few years, and I remember 2009 was the time when I was asked by the management if I'm willing to step up and if I'm willing to do something which is very new for the organization. And in fact, that was very new for the city as well, because something like that didn't exist there.
Mm-hmm.
It was a new line of business for technology training. The organization was never involved in training as a business. While yes, there were so many trainings happening internally,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
training as a business was something very new.
Mm-hmm.
I had never led any business. I don't come from a business family. I've never done business. So initially, yes, it was scary. But then, I very, very clearly remember the discussion that I had with my leader and the confidence that he showed. I think that gave me a lot of courage, a lot of confidence in myself that yes, probably I can do it. And we started that. We did fairly well. I would not say it was very successful, but that was one experience that taught me how really businesses work. What are the nitty-gritties of running a business? And business is not necessarily only about revenues and sales and those kind of things. Because if you have to do revenue and sales and profits and those kind of things, you need to work on your people. You need to have the right set of team, because you cannot do everything on your own. So
Yeah.
you need to have the right team. You need to mentor them, work with them closely. I think that phase was something that organized my thoughts a lot in
Mm-hmm.
terms of how I would want to be like a leader. What Because see, leadership I think starts from the schooling days. That's when
Mm-hmm.
amongst your
Yeah.
friends, amongst your
Yeah.
teachers, your colleagues, you start showing some traits. But it is very unorganized. It's not very structured leadership
Mm-hmm.
that you do then.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I think that technology training phase
Mm-hmm.
was the phase when I really organized my leadership thoughts, what to do, how to do, a lot of reading that went behind that, because
Mm-hmm.
you have to learn on the job. While uh,
Yeah.
the business will not wait, right? You have to produce results, but then you have to learn these things as well. So I think that was
Absolutely.
that was the first step and the first
Okay.
phase when that mind shift happened.
So I have a question follow up, but then before I ask that follow up question for my audience, folks, the confidence that was shown by Priyanshu's leader back then instilled the confidence in him. So, my fellow leaders, are you instilling that confidence in your team members? Are you showing that path to them? Are you showing them that they can do it? That was the a bigger learning for me, Priyanshu, from this story of
Absolutely.
yours. And the follow up question. So, if you have to pick one, that mindset shift, what was that shift that happened? I understand the learning you mentioned. I understand that it's not just about the revenue, it's about the people. But inside you, what changed
I would say, Rahul, that change happened after that phase,
after that? Okay.
right? While that whole technology training part was going on, it was still more of execution and things like
Mm-hmm.
that.
Mm-hmm.
And this is something that I would definitely want to highlight if we discuss about what if things could have been better.
Mm-hmm.
But then the shift happened after that phase when there was a time. Now, as I said, it was not a very successful LOB for the organization, and we probably closed it down. It was a new territory for us, and we thought let's focus on the strengths.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, there was a phase when, there was again that invisibility that you're talking about
Mm-hmm.
earlier that came in. There was a certain uncertainty. Okay, what now?
Mm-hmm.
Right? I tried
Yeah.
something. It did not work out very well the way it should have been. And then there was that, period wherein there was a lot of uncertainty. And that is where I think the major mindset shift happened, wherein I started thinking that, okay, I need to have some purpose.
Hmm.
It cannot just be, just go with the flow. There has to be some purpose. There has to be, certain goals that I have to set and work towards achieving that.
Okay, okay, very good. So a lot of golden nuggets coming in from Priyanshu. The one I catched was focus on your strengths. So that was one of the learning.
Yeah.
And then at times we don't know what our strengths are. So very very important for us as leader or team members to know our strength. And I think the second thing, the what if everything will not work the way you have planned, right?
Exactly.
So, and sometimes the plan is execution, not on paper. A good plan is not which is written on the paper. A good
Correct.
plan is that is executable, right? So, great. That story is definitely very, very motivating and inspiring. And you did spoke about the purpose, the vision to have, which is also part of our climb framework.
Yep.
So my question, piggybacking on the climb framework, so which phase of the leadership? So in our climb framework, Priyanshu, we have four stages: invisible, potential, achiever, and your influencer. So if if you have to look at that story at back then, what stage you were in and what really took from you to move from that stage to become an influencer that you had become in a probably couple of years of time frame back then.
Sure. So, see, that stage, I would still say, Rahul, I was at the potential stage,
Mm-hmm.
right? I think the move from potential to achiever happened when I got the opportunity from the organization to move to Philippines.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And while we already had a setup in Philippines, and there was things going on, so it was not from scratch, but the opportunity that was given was go and scale it up,
Mm.
right? And I took that with both the hands, because after the technology training initiative, this was the second opportunity that I got, and I said, no looking back, this is
Mm-hmm.
it, right?
Okay.
And that is where I think that shift happened from potential to achiever.
Okay. Nice.
And then Philippines, yeah, 6 years. It was an amazing experience.
I know, I know. I've been to the center when you were leading it, and we had some amazing work. The people were amazing,
Yep.
and the transformation we did for the country, for the people, for the industry in that country was simply outstanding. So
Mhm.
kudos to you and the leadership back then who supported the initiative. Now, what is coming to my mind is you shared about your first experience, which is about the SAP business. And one thing I always talk to people is if you want to fail, fail fast.
True.
You fail fast, you learn quickly.
Hmm.
So, and how you fail fast is you keep on executing things, don't keep on thinking whether I should do
Exactly.
it or not. So, and I do remember because I was managing this piece back then that we did provided Dale Carnegie training
Yes.
to people from a first-time leader, first-time manager. But let's say hypothetically, if you or your immediate leader were fully trained when it comes to the leadership, the people development, people management, because one of the learnings you mentioned that it is not about always the revenue, it's all about managing people. How things would have been different if you were
Mhm.
trained before you actually went on to take this business, you were fully trained on entrepreneurship. Uh, do you think things would be different or you would have seen still the same result? Your thoughts?
Definitely things would have been much different. And nowadays when I reflect back, I do realize how I could have done things different. So to be honest, Rahul, I think one thing that and this is especially for young leaders who are in that phase of moving from an independent contributor to a leadership managerial role, right?
Mm-hmm.
What we often feel and what we often understand is that to become a leader, you have to first be a very good individual contributor, right?
Absolutely.
I have my differences with those thoughts, right? I feel that yes, it is important that you are dedicated to your work, but you don't have to be, the best individual contributor to be a good
Mm-hmm.
leader,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
right? Leadership is not just about doing one particular job, right? Leadership is about managing so many different things. While yes, you are, accountable and answerable to the stakeholders,
Yeah.
you are also answerable to your team members. You are also answerable to yourself, right? So there are so many small aspects that together make a leader successful, right?
Absolutely.
Now, if such kind of a training wherein we cover all these aspects, right? I think something like that would have been wonderful, and things
Yeah.
definitely would have been, much better.
Much better.
I look back at the mistakes that I've made. We all do, but then
Yeah.
yes, when I look back, I think yes, probably if I had known better, I would have made a better decision.
Right, right, right. And I think I agree with you that it is just not the numbers of individual contributor that should be seen to promote them. And
Yeah.
it's unfortunate that most of the organization look at that one criteria of to promote. I see that you need to look at the other aspects. Are people coming to them? Are they coachable?
Hmm.
Are they good coach? So it's
Hmm.
both the ways. First of all, you need to be coachable, and then you
Correct.
need to be a good coach. I think coaching
Correct.
is one of the key skill for a leader, and that's where we
Absolutely.
miss big time. So my request to the listeners is, if you are moving from an individual contributor to a leader, ask your leadership to get you to some training. Ask your leadership to make you do some projects, make you work with other leaders so that you learn from them. You don't need to get 20 years of experience to learn from a 20-year experience individual. You spend some time with them, and probably with their experience, with the mentorship, you will be amazing. Now, you mentioned about these aspects, that things would have been different, things would have been done better. Now, if you have to look back, if you have to give any advice to younger Priyanshu,
Mhm.
what would be that advice? What would be those three? If you have to say three things to the younger Priyanshu, what would that be?
Uh, to younger Priyanshu, I would say one, of course, is uh, you know if 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 you have to really become a successful leader, right? It is not just your business performance. It is about how many people have risen under you, and and
Mhm.
and
Wow.
today are independent leaders in their own way,
Hmm.
right? That is the goal that a leader should set. Because when I look back, right, to be very honest, I hardly remember, that okay, I was successful. What was my numbers? How much revenue did I don't even remember, to be very honest, all those
Hmm.
things. But I do remember some people who, I had the opportunity to work with, who are so successful in their life today, right? And that time when we worked together, things happened. There are always those arguments, healthy
Hmm.
arguments. You
Yeah.
work with people, right? You train them.
Hmm.
So
Absolutely.
that would be one, right? I think as a leader, while yes, everyone is focused that okay, we have to achieve these numbers, let's do it. I think it is also very important to look at how many people are you developing, how many leaders, next generation leaders are you working on,
Hmm. Yeah.
right? And thankfully, I've had the privilege of doing that. But yes, I could have done maybe more, and that was not the thought back then,
Right.
right? It
Right.
came with
Right.
time, but then it was not when I started in a
Hmm.
leadership role, right? Second would be, I think we talk about EQ, but I think emotional commitment, emotional investment in your work is very important. Uh,
Wow.
I know these days people talk about work-life balance and how
Hmm.
to switch off once your job hours are done. That is fine. Yes, you should have time for your personal life, your family, your friends, and definitely that is required. But when you are emotionally invested in your work, I
Hmm.
think the success becomes sweeter. You
Hmm.
really feel accomplished rather than it just being an achievement and an award that you may get,
Correct, correct, correct.
right?
Okay,
So
yeah. Emotional.
emotional investment is very important, and not just with your work, with your people as well, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
uh, Third thing, and this probably comes from my experience of working in different countries. And when I look right now, it's all global teams. And the manager is in one country, the team is probably spread in 4, 5 different countries,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
right? It's very important for a leader to be culturally aware, to be, to probably integrate with the culture of different team members. It could be different regions within a country, it could be different country, right?
Hmm.
But you have to live the culture of your team members. You cannot
Hmm.
be aloof.
Wow, a great point you're making in this global world where everything is global. So
Yep.
you may not have people just from same country or same ethnicity for that matter.
Yep.
Good, good. I love these pointers. I'm sure younger Priyanshu would be very, very happy uh, to hear that.
True.
Or probably there would be so many younger Priyanshus available who may be listening to this podcast because what I see is people have a lot of passion to do things.
Correct.
And when they have passion, but when they do not have direction, that's where they get lost.
Hmm.
So, getting direction and direction not necessarily by your own leader. It could be some other team member. It could be someone else in the family, but
True.
uh, not in the influence of something, but a healthy dialogue, healthy discussion happening where you are getting good direction, making you aware of your blind spot.
Yep.
Sometimes you just don't know what you don't know. And if you don't go and ask for feedback, people will not be very good at feedback or people will
Hmm.
not give feedback. Okay? Especially constructive feedback. People are
Constructive.
not
Yeah.
good at it. Now, I just want to give you an open mic to, let's say you are addressing to young group of entry level talent who joined your organization. They also have the same ambition that probably you had back in 2006 and how your journey has shaped from back then to now. What will be your message to those entry level talent? Let's say doing a town hall of 100 people who joined Net2Source, okay, and it's a global team. What would be something that you want to share to the future generation of leaders?
Sure. I'll keep it short and sweet.
Yeah.
I think one of the most important things for people who are starting their journey is to take initiatives, right?
Mhm.
And these initiatives could be anything within the organization that you are working in, right?
Mhm.
Because when you take initiatives, you network within the organization,
Yeah.
you start working and developing on your organized leadership skills as well, right? And that gives you an opportunity to look back, reflect, see, okay, what you can improve, what are the areas where you could have done better. So taking initiatives is very important. I know a lot of people have inhibitions, but you'll have to shed them. You'll have to
Mhm.
shed them. You will have to become visible, as soon as possible,
Yeah.
right?
Okay. Yeah.
uh, I would say that is very important when
Mhm.
someone is starting up, right? Second thing I would say is, and this is something when we are young we probably do not value it as much, is develop networking within the community. Develop a network outside your organization, in the industry that you are working in the local community that you live
Yeah.
in, or in the local community that you work in. I think that goes a long way,
Mhm.
and that is very important.
Yeah, yeah, and I think what you're also bringing up is a good point because you get to know what's happening around you.
Exactly.
When you don't do that networking outside your own company, you are just working like a hawkeye, and you don't know what's happening outside.
Yeah.
So, great point. The first point also was amazing. Taking initiative, and team or our listeners taking initiative is just raise your hand to support the Friday fun if the organization is having that. Raise your hand to arrange a cricket tournament or a basketball tournament or any tournament, ping pong tournament. Um, Try to work on as a volunteer for different teams. Spend time with other leaders. I think this is another aspect that I have seen, Priyanshu, is leader just think that okay, the people that I'm managing, 8 to 10 people, I'm just leader of them. And I had experienced that, if you are an elevator, people don't talk. If
Mm.
you don't have your team member in the elevator, you will not even say hi to them. And the way I see is when the moment you get this manager title or a leader title, you are a leader for the organization, not just for one team. So you need to reflect that. You need to show the value to all team members in the organization. So that is very, very important.
True.
And any other pointers for the young professionals? I
Uh,
just took these two taking initiative, developing networking within the community. Anything else?
I think again, going back, I would say those three things. One is work on developing people.
Developing people.
That
Yeah.
is very important. Emotional investment
Mhm.
in your work, right? And cultural integration.
Culture and game. Awesome. Awesome. All right. So before we move on to the rapid fire questions, so we have some fun questions, Priyanshu, for you,
Mhm.
which I'm sure the listeners will enjoy listening to the responses to those questions. There are 5 questions that would be coming your way. And without thinking, I would recommend you to just respond to them. Okay.
Sure.
All right. So the first question: what's one daily ritual you never skip, no matter how hectic the day is?
I would say at the end of the day, I look at my calendar for tomorrow, plan my day for tomorrow.
Okay.
I never log out before doing that.
Awesome. That's
That
good.
that has been with me since quite some time now, and I do it religiously every single day.
Awesome. Awesome. What one leadership skill you wish someone had taught you earlier?
I would say networking within the larger world.
Okay.
That is something that yes, if probably I would have started doing that much earlier than when I started doing it. I think that would have been helpful.
Okay. Awesome. A quotation you live by.
Quotation I live by. Okay.
A quote or quotation.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I would say there's one that I love. This is by Morris West, who's an Australian author and playwright. If you live your whole life waiting for the storm, you'll never enjoy the sunshine.
Wow. Amazing.
Yeah,
Amazing. That's a
yeah.
good one.
I love this one.
Yep. Yep. All right. The final one. So, Priyanshu, if your career were a Netflix series, what would be the title of season one be?
Oh my God. Okay. That's a tough one. Netflix season. I would say the fear of unknown.
Fear of the unknown. Okay.
Yeah, because see, whatever you say, you always have a little bit of fear, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then you overcome it, of course. And there's so many unknown things that I have raised my hand for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think if I look back, everything probably that I've done, I had no idea about it before I did it.
Correct.
So,
Correct, correct, correct. Okay.
yep.
Okay. Amazing. Yeah. I think that one fear, as you mentioned, is there in most of us. And I would not say that it should not happen.
Yeah.
It's an emotion, it's a feeling, and it will come. But how you handle that is what differentiate you and the rest of the world. And
True.
many a times when you have done once, you have to have that feeling that okay, I did it once.
Hmm.
What will worst will happen? we
Yeah.
will we will fight it out, and there are always help available, because this is another thing. Most of the leaders I see, they shy away asking for help.
True.
They shy away in sharing their knowledge with others. They are more insecure that someone will take away my position. I look at it that ask for help not to look weak but to become stronger, and share your knowledge with people, because when you share your knowledge, you will, one, you will be able to become master of that knowledge. And two, you are building your own community.
Exactly. It
Because
it works both ways.
yeah, sharing knowledge is important. All right, Priyanshu, it's a pleasure to have you, and see how you have grown from invisible to an influencer that you have been. Thank you for sharing those critical points. So the three pointers that if I have to pick up from the entire episode, um, would be one, would be about taking care of people. It's just
Yeah.
not about the numbers. It is just not about the metrics. It's taking care of people. The second piece, if I have to summarize the episode, would be the emotional investment with your work. And mind you, we are not talking about working 24/7, but be emotionally involved. I mean, care for things. Don't just do things for the sake of doing. Care about it. And last but not the least is be mindful of people who are working with you from a cultural standpoint, because people are sensitive, and you need to be sensitive towards that culture. We are in this global world, and it is important for us to know how things are happening. We can't just think that the work will happen my way. So
Yeah.
those are the three nuggets, golden nuggets. Anything else you want to share with your with our audience, Priyansh, before we let you go, my friend?
I would just say, and probably just be fearless, take initiatives, go for it. There's nothing wrong when I look back now, and I laugh at the mistakes that I made. I laugh at the insecurities that I had,
Mhm.
right? So it's okay. Nothing can go so wrong. Be fearless, go for it, take initiatives.
Awesome. Awesome. So, team, focus on taking the initiative. And if you are looking to get anything around leadership, ask your manager to send you for some program. And it is not all the time the training, it could also be about the perspective. So, check out our leadership sounding board on LinkedIn. It's a group created for new leaders to get a different perspective from seasoned leaders, because not always about the training, it is not always about the workshop. Today we know it all. We have been learning, as Priyanshu was also mentioning, we have been learning leadership right from school's age, college age. So we know it, we just need to fine tune it. Thank you for listening with us. Share this episode. Do let us know what you like in today's episode with the community. Thank you and have a blessed day. Thank you, Priyanshu, for
Thank you.
having with us on the show. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you, Rahul. Thank you so much.